What's up, everyone? You are listening to Wake Up Naked. I am your host, Esme Leon. We're going in deep into ourselves. We're going to be talking about ideas and concepts and things that have the potential to actually change our lives. So get excited, get ready, and what are you waiting for? Come over here and get naked with me. Hi, what's up, team? Yes, that is correct. I am your host, Esme Leon, and you are tuned into Wake Up Naked. And today, I want to share one tip that if you're feeling a little bit confused, if you're feeling like the energy is a little bit stuck for you, this is one tip that could potentially get you out of that place. However, it's going to seem counterproductive, so I need you to stay with me. All right, are you ready for this? The number one tip that I can give you if you're stuck and you're wanting to move powerfully forward is, check it out, you have to ignore what is. And I know, team, that sounds so counterproductive. It sounds like, oh, well, you're just running away from your problems. But I want us to really think about this, because a lot of the times that I think we hear things like this that seem so basic, like ignore what is, we feel like that we're being cowardly, that we're not facing our issues. But I want us to look at our life and see, okay, how has the other way been working for me? So if you believe that facing your issue head on, it's so big, you've been thinking about it, you've been worrying about it, you've been talking to your friends about it, you've been calling your mama, your papa, your brothers, your sisters, and you know what? Everyone's sick and tired of listening to it. Your issue, including you. Sometimes, that's happened to me where I'm like, oh my God, am I still telling the same old story about this and that? So how has that worked for you? So I know that sometimes if I tell you, you have to ignore what is, it feels like then I'm not doing anything about it. Well, how has the worrying been going for you? And I can guarantee that it has not been going very well. You've been worried about it. You've been talking about it. Maybe you even have lost a little bit of sleep, which worsens the problem because now you're not sleeping well and you're not thinking well and there's even less clarity. So I want us to really try something new. If you haven't tried this, try just ignoring what is. And I first heard this, and I love this, from one of my favorite teachers, Abraham Hicks. And what they say, and what I 1,000% agree with, is just because something is real doesn't mean that it deserves your attention. Because where attention, flows, that's what we're recreating. Everything's about energy. So if your energy, your consciousness, your awareness is going towards the issue, it can only circulate more of the issue. So sometimes the best thing to do is to stop thinking about it altogether, to step away from the challenge, to step away from the issue altogether. And I know that it seems like, okay, well, then I'm not doing anything about it, but just try it out, because the worrying that you've been doing, the gossiping about it that you've been doing, the story that you've been telling, most likely has just made you feel like shit. There's been little to no resolution, and it's just suffering, right? When we are constantly worrying, we're constantly suffering. So I'm suggesting that there could be a different way, that we don't have to suffer. And yes, it's a little bit uncomfortable. And of course, it's going to be hard. If your mind territory has been completely taken over by this issue, you better believe it's going to be so hard to not think about it. But what I am asking you to do is to make a date with a friend and don't talk about it. Go out on a new adventure that you haven't done before. Do something that you typically wouldn't do because you're too worried and too or consumed with the problem. Whatever it may be, step back. And again, I go back to Abraham Hicks because I just feel like they just resonate so much with me that sometimes we think, well, this is the truth. The truth is that I am negative $100 in my bank account. This is the truth. And you know what? Nobody's arguing with that. It could very well be true that you're a broke motherfucker right now. But just because that's the truth doesn't mean that's where your focus should be. Because if you're trying to get out of the brokenness, you can't be in the brokenness to get out of it. Does that make sense? It's a energetic feeling. It has to start with the feeling. And this also reminds me of another amazing teacher, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he talks about us being in a whole new era, a whole new place where it's no longer, as he says, it's no longer enough to know. Now we have to actually put these concepts into application. And one of his best things that I think he says, he talks about we can't wait to feel. We can't wait to be whole to feel whole. We have to feel whole in order to be whole. You can't wait for the lover in order to feel love. You have to feel the love and then the lover comes. You cannot wait for the money in order to feel the prosperity. Feeling the prosperity will bring about the abundance of everything, including money. So this is why, going back to the beginning, team, of we have to ignore what is, because check it out. What you've been focusing on has just been amplifying. The worry has just amplified. It's almost can make you sick and it can almost handicap you. And I've been there before and I know how much that sucks. So I don't want anyone to go through that if they don't have to, right? So just trust me on this. Try it just for a day. What happens today if you stop focusing on the fact that you're not in an ideal relationship? What happens today if you stop focusing and talking about how you're not married yet, if that's what you want to be and you've just been talking about it so much that everybody's sick of hearing about it, right? What happens today if you just ignore the fact that you're negative $100 in the bank account, or maybe it's that you're not exactly where you want to be. What happens today if just for today you ignore it? Because obviously the other way hasn't worked. And I can 99.9% guarantee that the worrying has not helped at all. If anything, it's just made you more fearful. And in the future, if this continues for years and years, it's going to make you sick. I don't want you to be sick. I want us to come out. So at the beginning, maybe the first step is ignoring what is, because this isn't about hiding. This isn't about running away. This is about being a smart, deliberate creator. Where you put your energy at, that's where the creation flows. So if you don't want to recreate your brokenness, if you don't want to recreate what you're calling loneliness, you must shift your attention. And in the shifting your attention, magic happens. Think about anything. Think about your puppy. Think about how amazing your nieces and nephews are. Team, we have more power than we think. We have more power to shift our thoughts when a thought comes in that doesn't feel so good. I'm asking us just for today to ignore what is. If it's an issue that's been overwhelming, if it's an issue that's been consuming your life and every thought, you're going to have to do this if you want to feel good. You're going to have to ignore what is so that the new shit has an opportunity to pop in your brain. Because how is a new idea supposed to pop in your brain if you've just been constantly beating a dead horse, if you've just been constantly talking about the same old shit? How is a new idea ever supposed to make it into your brain? It can't. That's my point. It cannot, which is why we must ignore what is so that new stuff can come in. It doesn't mean we're running away from the issue. It means that we're being smart, that we're being smart with our creation and we're being smart with our consciousness and our awareness. And when we stop thinking about the issue and we leave space for more beautiful things to come in, then the solution will come. But the solution cannot come if you're uber focused on the issue. Okay, team, that's it for today. Love you all. I'm rooting for you and we will talk very, very soon. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got as much out of that as I did. If you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure to go back and hit subscribe and keep coming back. Team, we are going to the top and I will see you there. I'm out.